Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera and welcome to D&Mead Like the Drink, where one random Monday a month, I grab a glass of something good and then hang out and chat with my audience. So, welcome. Hello, welcome. This is June 27th, 2022, and tomorrow is actually June 28th, and every 28th is a month anniversary celebration. So literally tomorrow night will be my 11th month of D&Me, which is exciting. So here we go. Here's my glass of something good that I just grabbed. And clink. Cheers to 11 months of D&Me. Rosé from a box. So, yeah, that's exciting. 11 months. That's incredible. That's unbelievable. That's a year, almost a year of like me doing this big old thing. So, to celebrate, the 11th year anniversary gift is steel. So, in the background here, I have stainless steel, and then I also have my roommate Danny Steele. So, hey, Danny, thanks for joining me. You're welcome. Victor, governor. Cheers, mate. No, he's not Australian. Victor. That's more him, Danny. So I'm just going to have Danny hang out with me tonight. So, yeah, I'm expecting for this to be a very quick episode. Because what have I been doing all day today? And I'm excited to go back to. This past couple months have been bonkers. This past month specifically, I have been doing a lot of Look at Danny. This past month, I've been doing a lot of Uber Eats. So I do the food delivery, which is pretty good, like short-term running. So I've been doing that for the past couple weeks. Past month really, and that is all consuming. And then when I wasn't doing Uber Eats, then this past fortnight I've been acting a lot. So I've been in a spec commercial, and then 2 feature films, one I had to drive up to North Carolina for, and then the other one I had to be here, but they are 2 feature films of my friends. So they are first feature films, which is terribly exciting, and I'm very happy and honored to be a part of all that. But with this past month and then finishing up the Restful Lily arc, then I was like, okay, episode 45 is right around the corner, is this Wednesday, and I want to be good at it. Meaning that this past 9 episodes, I have just kind of flown by the seat of my pants, like, we'll improv it because I don't know what's coming up in the book, and I'll talk about doing a dungeon blind here in a second, but there was no prep, which was awesome. There was very little prep. I think the week before, I could have used some prep. No, I think it was last week, where my friend was like, hey, you want to hang out? And she came to Atlanta and surprised me, which was great, but I lost 4 hours that Wednesday, so this week, I finished up all the Restful Lily stuff, and then I wanted to really dive back into Waterdeep, hitting the ground running, because there's a lot of stuff still in Waterdeep that I want to do. And what I did today was I went out. I have many Word documents of D&Me on my computer, one of which is my D&M priorities. And that's this big old stack of paper right here, 25 pages. So I printed that out, and then I have my, the show Bible that I run pretty much the whole episode off of, and that's called D&Me Game, because I also have a D&Me Game Notes, which is different. But the D&Me Game, there was 16 pages of the game, of all the stuff that I had written down that I wanted to remember and then call back to later, or questions I had. And then I've been going through today. There's just a small little airplane chugging along outside. I went through them today, and then I really wanted to see what I haven't finished or accomplished or addressed. And there's still a lot of loose ends here in Waterdeep. And I went through and these are my completed pages. So I have all of these pages. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 8 pages already of stuff that I've completed or rearranged or reminded myself of, so that I can do them good, because episode 45 is around the corner, and I don't think I've made it official, so why not here right now? But when I hit episode 50, then I'm going to take a little bit of break, because that will be a full year. That'll be the 52 weeks. I took 2 weeks off, one for Thanksgiving and then one for my mic not working. And I think 50 is just a nice round, even number. So I'm going to take a break for a little bit. I will save what I'm going to do, what my big plan is right now, that I'm saving a whole bunch of money for later. But yeah, so I wanted these last 6 episodes to be something amazing and something I'm very proud of. And I have just a lot of things that I planted the seeds for a while back before we did 9 episodes of The Restful Lily. And they're all coming bearing fruit. So that's exciting. And I have priorities, I have the game notes, and yeah, so part of the thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about doing a dungeon blind. So what I did for The Restful Lily was I had the Candlekeep Mystery Anthology Collection series, and I chose one that actually worked out perfectly, The Price of Beauty, and then I read just the intro, and then I kept all of the rooms and the map itself covered up. So I was going into rooms blind, where I didn't know what was going to happen in them. I don't know any of the challenges they're in, any of the obstacles, any of the traps. So that was really, really fun. It unlocked a different part of my brain than just the storytelling, like me coming up with the story and kind of an idea of where the scenes are normally going to head out. But with doing it blind, it unlocked the player part of my mind, which I haven't done for the first 35 episodes. So that was really cool and really challenging. And there were a couple things that I want to note, like some of the flaws or challenges therein are the NPCs would know what's in all of the rooms. So I worked around it a little bit with Glimmer in the curse of, I'm not allowed to say what's in the rooms because it's directly tied to my curse. So that was clever, but I think there was a moment of, would Glimmer have been in the stone tower? Well, I didn't find out, but the second out of 3 stories of the stone tower was where he slept. So, there's no way to have guessed that. And the way I wove through the adventure and tied everything together organically and chronologically, great. Turned it out really, really awesomely. And I'm really proud of my, that was a very big, heady task, because one thing that I've been very good at, my storytelling normally are just little tiny smart little details or visuals or imagery, and something I'm working on is tying everything together, big thematically motifs like that. So the fact that I ended The Price of Beauty with a little bit of a clunky wrap up, but I wanted to make sure I got everything loot wise and tying up storylines. So the fact that I could do it and then have some really beautiful moments of clarity and self-reflection, and I didn't know any of these characters before the journey, and then afterwards I wanted it all to have a good meaning and worth. So that was really cool for me. But yeah, some of the only flaws, the NPCs would know about the rooms, and then when I do the podcast, because I do want to eventually turn all of these episodes into a podcast, I've discovered early on that If this show was just the podcast, then I would be totally on top of it. But because a huge element is the video up front, what you see here and like my delivery for Twitch and YouTube, that is so big and up front. That's where all my main views are coming from, because the podcast only has like 200 listens, which is totally fine because it comes out once every month. I'm skipping June this month, actually, because I was one episode ahead. So it was kind of weird for me to have 11 episodes on my 10th month, and I didn't want to have 12 episodes on my 11th month. So when I hit that 50 episode mark, then I'll spend a lot more time chugging out the episode edits. And my dad has been huge, and Anna Bowder also, but they have helped tremendously with my runs, where we take out all of my and then so that helps a lot. And my dad is up to like episode 18, so I'm gonna have a lot of great work. And with also printing out the priorities and some of the I have notes from the very beginning of D&Me that I haven't done yet, and I will spend a lot of time going through them. So that's just really, really nice. And finish some things and start some projects where when I had all the time in the world to work on D&Me every day of the week, then I was talking to my mom, I think earlier today, where when I had all the time in the world to work on D&Me, then it was spread out over 7 days. But since I've been working and having a lot of other focuses in my life, then for a while there, it was only the one day of the week, Wednesday. And then Tuesday a little bit, but just for D and Artistry right at the end. I didn't do a D and Artistry this week or last week because no one showed up, which is totally fine. But after a little bit, then it was a little discouraging of just me doing art and me talking to myself right now, drinking by myself. Very short episode, this one. But, so, for D and Artistry, like, me with D&Me nowadays, I love the practice of Wednesdays and doing the show. I am still super excited, and it's a huge motivator to see where the story's going to go and what my boys are going to do. But me doing all the D&Medias, of running the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter all by myself, and the first significant milestones of follower counts, it's a huge grind where you have to post every day, and you have to post something interesting every day, and you have to tag correctly, and then when to post it, and I just got turned off of that. And the TTRPG community on Twitter, understandably, right now they're all frustrated with the Roe versus Wade thing, and even better, the TTRPG community is very gay and very gender divergent on Twitter, which is amazing to watch because I'm a cis guy, straight, but to see the rainbows and how people differently identify, that it's lovely, and there's huge support and community there. But again, understandably, they are completely disheartened, and that's not great for me to see all the time. Which, again, understandably, they're justified completely. But for my own mental health, I'm like, okay, I can't. Yeah, I know the world is on fire and has been for 2.5 years. And this is just another example of that. But so I'm stepping back from all that. I might, after my break from doing that, I love that I did it for a year. Well, for almost 11 months right now, D&Me, and that's huge. And if I don't get any more followers, then I don't really care, because it's just me and my mom and my dad and sometimes my sister invested in the story, and that's great for me. And I make my own little art, and I make stickers, and I buy my own stickers, and I love it. So that's all I kind of want right now for D&Me. Like, I was super gun-ho about it being the next Critical Role, of course, because why not shoot for the stars? But realistically, I have other stuff in my life that I want to do. And it was a huge coping mechanism. I've talked about this before, but huge coping mechanism for 2021 and 2022 for my year 30. The day that it started was my birthday, August 1st, which is right around the corner. Episode 50 will be, what will that be? Because I know I have 6 energy drinks in my fridge right now, waiting for the last 6 episodes, because I planned that. But what will the last episode for a little bit be? What would episode 50 be? So episode 45 is Wednesday, June 29th, July 6th, 26th, July 13th, 47, July 20th would be 48, July 27th would be 49, and then August 3rd, wow! August 3rd will be episode 50 and the end of season 1. I'll call it season 1. And then maybe in September or maybe October, I will take however long I need in order to rest on Wednesdays. And Danny, you tease. Look at you. You're so cute. Danny's a great guy. Danny Steele with an E at the end, which is different from stainless steel with no E at the end. But yeah, that's kind of where D&Me is, and like the whole mic debacle was exhausting, and trying to figure out Twitch, and like I do love when people tune into Twitch, and that's really fun, but during the storytelling elements, it's hard, and it's a hard sell. I've talked about this before, but it's a hard sell for D&Me going, tune into episode 45 of this one-man show. And I've tried to do like D&Recaps and make the one-page PDF pitch, and I right now am settling on it being a great show just to enjoy for myself by myself. And that was always like the tagline at the very beginning of like, Victor, I'm doing this for myself, but I wanted audience. And then now that I don't have a lot of audience, then I am reminded of like, oh, well, I have to do this for me, because why else do it? I had huge ambitions of like paying my rent with all the money that I'm raking in from Twitch and the podcast, because I've had the Adventure Zone and Critical Role in my life for so long, where they're making a living doing that. So why can't I? I have all the time in the world, and then I didn't have all the time in the world, and I don't have all the time in the world. So I was figuring out what I wanted to do, and I think ending season 1 at episode 50, I've thought about how big of a cliffhanger to leave it on, and I'm not going with the biggest cliffhanger, because that's not fair. Because what if I wind up doing another big project and not coming back for a season 2? Like, no, I can't do the biggest thing in my head. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to do in these next 6 episodes. Yeah, acting a lot this past fortnight. D&Mead Monday, a random Monday once a month. Make this as a reminder to future Victor to see how far I've come. Let's see, what else do I want to say to future Victor? Because I talk a lot to future Victor. He takes exceptional notes. Yeah, it was really fun. 15 pages of The Price of Beauty equaling 9 or 10 episodes of the Restful Lily arc. It was a lot. But I am aiming for the next 6 episodes to tie it back into the rest of the show. So, yeah, still some things I want to figure out. Let's see. Is anyone talking to me on the D&Medias? Because I did want to do a D&Mead in June. Let's see. 2 likes on Twitter and a bot retweet. 2 likes on Instagram and 2 follows from probably 2 other bots. Some graphic design bots, which is always fun. A bot comment. I just want to keep drinking. Last episode I wanted beers, and Danny actually had beers that he doesn't want, so I will go pop one open after my cup of rosé. Look at my cheeks already. And one reaction on Facebook. That's pretty good. So, I love D&Me as a show. Like, truly, I love D&Me as a show. I love that I did it for a year. That I've created stories that I wouldn't even have imagined with my boys. And exceptional interactions and some thrilling combat and some really cool moments. Like, some really fucking cool moments. Like, not pressure, but the different energy that just live performance brings. Like, it made some huge connections that I wouldn't have, or like just some beautiful moments that if I was sitting at a computer for an hour, I wouldn't be able to write it. But the different energy that on like live on camera improv, it made some beautiful moments. And I love my retention. So, like, my brain, while playing the game, while doing D&Me, remembers details from, like, episode 17. Elephant in the Room. Ooh, well, actually, which one's companionship? Oh, companionship's after 30. But, yeah, like, a bunch, like, my retention, like, I recall jokes that I made 20 episodes ago, and I can tie them back in, and I'm writing down different. This is great for D&Me. I write down like a note when I rewatch the episode, and it's an open-ended question. I'm like, how do I figure that out? And then 20 episodes later, I'm like, oh, that directly connects to something I did 5 episodes ago, but I wouldn't have figured that out without the moment 5 episodes ago. So that's really awesome. And I love the characters that I make. Like, again, if I sat down for an hour at the computer and tried to write these things in writer brain, then it would turn out differently. And I love the organic, like, my mom and some of the other audience members, their favorite parts are when I just like, have these light bulb moments, and they're amazing and fantastic. So I am very, very, very glad with my whole heart that I'm doing D&Me. It's taught me so much about just consistency. My dad brought up consistency in D and Mommy and Poppy, that I do it every week. I only missed 2 weeks out of a year because one was a holiday, and then 2, my microphone committed seppuku. So that, like, I've done so many supplemental stuff like D&Me extras, like D&Me extras of like my journey throughout this process. D&, artistries where I did art, like I made this, and I have so many cool things on Redbubble that I'm very proud of. If I had $100,000, then I would buy so much more stuff of my own, and that's stuff that I would want to buy as a consumer, which I think is amazing. I forgot I had my internet open. I was wondering why he was screaming. But yeah, Redbubble, I have, again, we spent 3 D and artistries going over my Word documents of like how many other cool stuff I will have when I have some time off so that I can just draw leisurely instead of under pressure. Under pressure, pushing down on me. So that's really cool. D&Recaps, those are really amazing. Like, someone brought that up. I think Anna brought that up. Of like, hey, it's a really hard sell to just jump on in. So me figuring out the formula of D&Recaps, summarizing 5 episodes at a time, under 5 minutes for most of them, except for the first one, which was like 6.5, but because that was the first one. So I'm very proud of those. Yeah, that's great. What a D&Meads, and then having my own talk show where once a month I would talk about kind of the state of the union of how D&Me's going. And drinking, that's the best part. Last month was hosted by my boys, which was just a whole bunch of fun, and psychiatrists, I'm sure, can dissect all that. Because I woke up, like I came back, and then I had notes written by my boys going, Victor, I would actually prefer if I may make a suggestion, if I could. So I have in my notes, Rock wants to spend some quality time with Paige. And what a beautiful coping mechanism this is, because I am, as I described in the Valentine's Day, February 14th D&Mead, I am a hopeful romantic, not a hopeless romantic, which I didn't even think of until that night. So that all my boys are finding various levels of romance, which is really, really sweet. And I'm glad I'm keeping that PG. The violence, a little PG-13. The language, oof, R, baby. But for the most part, my boys don't say too many F words or whatever. But some of the bad guys said more curse words than my boys. But I really do love the show and everything tied to it. And again, if I had $100,000 and 4 more Victors, then I would continue chasing after it at the highest level, having the... Oh, man. Okay, let's play $100,000 and 4 other Victors. Then every week I would have one of the Victors just tear through the podcast. So, like, I would have the podcast released the week that I did the episode. So that would be amazing. I would have drawn or have hero forged every character that we've ever done. I would probably draw them, but also I want a hero forge so that I can 3D print them out and have them on my desk, because I have this beautiful... I have a spice rack that I got from Goodwill, and I have my boys printed, 3D printed. I have other figurines that I've just collected over the years, and I love them. Oh. Let's see, what else? This is a very good green screen, but there are some little bits. Oh, yeah, I would have a whole freaking system. Like, I have the very whiny laptops that you hear buzzing right now, but there are some lines that I want to cover up with, like, green tape. I could, I guess, with $100,000, I could just get a whole new green screen. But no, I want just green tape so that I can fix it. I mean, it looks perfect right here, but just in person, it'll look better. Better microphone, better laptops. I have somewhere. Oh, one of the things on the list. Yeah. My cheeks are red and, like, I'm slurring a little bit. My speech is not as coherent as it normally is. Thanks, Rosé from the box. So one of my things on my list was, like, in order to grow my Twitch audience, then I wanted a PS5. And I have a PS5 now. I don't have any time to play, which is my fundamental flaw. But I have my PS5, and I did some great videos for Skyrim and a couple for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and like $100,000. Then I would play more Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man. I'll get that because I loved those 2 games. What else do I have? Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, and then Baldur's Gate, and then Baldur's Gate 2. The Brostradamus! You could you could buy so many copies of Morbius. Hello. Funny story. Are you related to Cthulhu Hop? But funny story. I went to a Target and I do now have a copy of the DVD of Morbius. And here's the thing. It wasn't as bad as the internet made it out to be. Like, I've watched some real bad movies, Oh, thank you for the cheers, 100. And then 6-month subscriber. Yee, thank you. But yeah, I've watched some really bad movies. And Morbius was okay. It wasn't great, but I felt it didn't deserve all of the just complete horseshit that it went through. Yeah, Matt Smith dancing wasn't great, but you kind of let Matt Smith do Matt Smith, so Matt Smith's going to do Matt Smith. Interestingly, I'm the new Cthulhu Hop. I like it. Hey, you're just perfect. Thank you for showing up, Cole. I was just rambling. But yes. Sam Rockwell dances a whole bunch in a whole bunch of movies like Charlie's Angels and others. So, but it was kind of out of place when Matt Smith did it. But Cole, I have so many movies that I just want to watch and shit on, like John Carter. Remember that movie? No one does. The VFX were great. Yeah, I mean the visual effects were great. Them having a tube, an aquarium of bats swirling around out in the open. You know, not the smartest idea, but it was a fine-looking movie. I love the echolocation stuff, but great. Tipsy number 1 fan underscore also. Can't talk about weird dance sequels without including Spidey 2. Well, Tipsy number 1 fan underscore, if you're going to redeem a sip of D&Me, I'm drinking rosé from a box. Yes, the weird dance sequence, Spidey 2. Well, it's actually from Spider-Man 3, but rant about Fantastic Beasts. Oh, I will. Was there a weird dance sequence in Spider-Man 2? But the Spider-Man 3 one, you just remember that there is no music. So he's just out in the streets doing this to no one. Like the hot ladies that pass by him. Nah, I meant 3. Hello. It's good. Are you feeling better? I heard you were not feeling great. So I just want to check in. Tipsy number 1 fan underscore. That was the most fun I've had watching a terrible movie. Yes, so me and Brostradamus. Fantastic Beasts is the best dance. Him. Oh, this is great. Yay. I've been talking to myself for the last half hour, so this is great. Yes, Fantastic Beasts, the first one, Eddie Redmayne, Academy Award-winning Eddie Redmayne, had a dance where he had to, do a mating ritual to a horny rhino. And then the third one, he did, this gyration that lasted way too long. But, yeah, me and Cole watched Fantastic Beasts, The Secret of Dumbledore, and it was great because Cole had, he brought up an excellent point, which was, from the first 2 movies, which are my favorite Harry Potter movies, the costume design of the wizards were oh, that's a wizard. That's a weird way to dress. But in all of the Fantastic Beasts movie, they all dress like muggles. So that's not the weird, beautiful robes of emerald and purple and, these funky hats. And I was like, oh my God, you're totally right. Because the production design of the first 2 Harry Potter movies were, beyond. They were my favorite. So, feeling very much better. I'm finally home, and boy and I are both sick and chilling on the couch watching you. Oh, hello, ants. Hey. Yay, I'm glad you're feeling better. Boy, you're up, huh? Amazing. Yeah, hi, ants. And then the kitties. I met the kitties for the first time. Okay, so I was telling Poppy that, I was wondering if there is a word for niece and nephew that's a collective noun, because when you have children, then you have a daughter or a son. But I was wondering what's a niece and a nephew together? So I looked it up, and it's called nibbling. Instead of sibling, it's nibbling. So for Peter, those were my first fur nibblings, where he had Kyber and Loki. Nailed it. I'm such a good fur uncle. Frunkle. That's like a grunkle, huh? Wait. Gunkle? Is it a grunkle? A gay uncle would be a gunkle, right? That doesn't sound right. A grunkle sounds... Anyways. So, yeah. A funkle, or a furry uncle. And so he was they were my first fur nibblings, but then I interacted with the kitties for the first time when I went up to North Carolina to film, and yeah, they a bunch of assholes. No, they personify consent, like I read on a meme or whatever, where cats, like, you want to pet them, but they're like, no, only on my time, and I appreciated it. So when Spaghetti and the other one, but hey, they my assholes. Yeah, but hey, they yo assholes. Are y'all sipping on anything good? Grabbing a glass of something good? Let's see, my rosé is almost gone. But let's see, what did I talk about in the first half hour? That I don't know if Mom knows this. Also, cough syrup. Lol. I'm sorry. Are y'all negative? Because I'm sure y'all are taking the test. I have some COVID tests I can, if you want. How did your shoot go, by the way? It went great. So I have, I had 3 shoots in the past 2 weeks. Yeah, negative. Good. Just wanted to make sure. I figured I would have. My roommate is right here. So, okay. So tomorrow is the 11th month of D&Me. And the 11th year anniversary gift is steel. So this is stainless steel, and this is Danny steel. So just wait for laughter and applause from the audience. Great. So what did the shoots? Yes. So I had 3 shoots. Wow. Yeah. Yep. Yep. So I had 3 shoots in the past fortnight. One was a comedy spec, which turned out great, and I made a new friend. He was the director and writer. And then I worked on 2 first feature films of my friends. A lot of F's there. One was in North Carolina, so I had to drive up to North Carolina, and then that went very well. It was in a grocery store, and they filmed a lot that day. And the 5-year-old who they had as one of the characters filmed a lot that day and was very squirrely and rambunctious. But it was great seeing Honeyheads again. And then the other film, it was just me and the director in his basement with the tripod, and I was very sweaty afterwards. Okay, hold on. But no, it was really good because all he needed was me in front of a green screen, and then I did my bit, and then we made each other laugh a whole bunch, which was incredible. So really, really good. And I haven't really acted in anything for the past couple months. So having 3 shoots in 2 weeks was amazing. And I got some auditions this month, which was great because those have been dry. You 2 alone and sweaty in the basement? Yep. So, yeah. Oh, my phone's... Okay. Well, hold on. Okay, good. Just want to make sure. Yeah, so... That was really nice. And then... I don't think I even finished half of my sentences by now. But, yeah, something I mentioned in the first half hour was... when I reach episode 50, then that will be the end of season 1 of D&Me. I'm going to take a break because I have some other stuff I want to do. But I was praising myself over the last half hour of how the consistency I had of doing D&Me every week except for 2 because it was Thanksgiving and my microphone committed seppuku. And like what I did today was I went over 25 and then 16, so that's 41 pages of like notes that I have accumulated over the past how many months. And so these next 6 episodes I'm gonna wrap up. We did a whole arc in The Rest for Lily, and I wrapped that up very well. So I'm gonna wrap up a lot of loose ends in Waterdeep. There's still gonna be so much more game to play for season 2 plus, but I want to get to a good stopping point because I've been doing this for a year. And yeah, so thank you all watching Brosterdamus and Tipsy #1 fan and Colony of Ants? No, Colony of Oh, boy. I don't remember your username. But thank you, Ants, for watching. Like, y'all are some of my biggest supporters. So, thank you so much. Right? Let's do one of the things. I'm going to roll for a talking point, and then I might call it a night. But I want to roll for something. Because I have an audience, and I'm not just talking to myself, which at, like, 12 minutes in, I was like, shit, all right, I'm just talking to myself. Let's roll. 19. What's 19 in my talking points list? Ritual cleanse of dice before shows, part of pre-show warm-up. Oh, okay, so a lot of cool warm-up stuff. Love you, bro. Yeah. Cole, I talked to you earlier about, like, the accumulation of your 5 friends that you hang out with the most, so thanks. We need to watch another crappy movie here soon, but okay. So, ritual cleanse dice before shows, part of pre-show routine. I read somewhere that you should probably clean your dice. And I was like, what? Why? And then they were like, because you handle them and they drop on surfaces and on the floor. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. But I don't. That's a very John Oliver joke delivery. But I was wondering if I should cleanse them or do like some kind of ritual of just like, thank you for D&Me. Here we go at 6:49. Bah, bah, bah. But I do have a dice ritual where I have them sorted out into different Taco Bell cups. And this one are all my balanced dice, my good ones that I feel confident of rolling. And they give me a fair objective number. But I roll all of these, I separate out all the D20s, and I go, okay, so which wants to be the sets that I play tonight, the 7 die polyhedral sets. And so I roll all the ones with, the corresponding 6 other dice. And then the 2 highest, then I pick out and I put in my cup that I stole. Look at me, like a makeup artist. Okay. This little Tupperware that I stole from my last roommate. And I keep those 2, and then all the other D20s, I'm like, all right, I need 4 or 5 others to play tonight. And then whoever rolls the highest, then I play those. Because I played with the same ones over and over, and then I could tell that they were getting tired. Humans will pack bond with anything. I sound like my mother right now. But they were getting tired, so I give them all a chance to roll and tell me which ones they want to play. And then I have ones that aren't, necessarily 7 set polyhedral dice, and then I have ones that are not balanced, and then I have some to be balanced, to have the salt water test to see if they are balanced or not. So that's kind of my dice ritual for the beginning. My warm-up, write pre-show mantras to say out loud at 6:30, meditate, dance at 6:40. So for those, for, let's see, 2021, I had a year where I was doing this, but every morning I would wake up and like recite. I think it was 2020. Was it? Maybe. I think it was 2020. So, I would wake up and then go over to my manifestation station in the morning, and then I had a page that I typed out of morning mantras where I would recite them, and then every month I would make a new mantra sheet because some no longer were applicable or some I adjusted. So that was really cool to say those like out loud every morning. And then after a year of doing that, I was like, I am done. I don't want to do this anymore. So I was wondering if there were like any pre-show mantras that I would want for myself of like, I am doing D&Me for me. Oh, well, I actually have a post. I promised to make D&Me a thing for me. Yeah, I have that on my little base here for this light. I should post that somewhere that it's not completely hidden from me. So, can't read that at all. I promised to make D&Me a thing for me. 2020. Cool. Yeah, so that, because I have a reminder here at the top of my D&Mead Word document, make this as a reminder to future Victor to see how far I've come. Which are little, like, journal entries of, like, this is This is what it was like to do it 3 months in. Like, remember when I was really excited about this 7 months in? So, at 11 months in, I'm kind of tired, which I've been for, a while. Oh no, I need more drink. But here we go. So pre-show mantras to say out loud at 6:30. Meditate. Okay, so recently, I've picked up drinking energy drinks, either Taurus Crimson or Monster Manual Mana at 6 o'clock. I tried at 6:30 and I was just like, yeah! Way too much, too energized. So I've drank it a little bit beforehand and then let it curve out. Going to sleep on Wednesday night's a hell of a thing, but I also have this YouTube video of an hour of meditation music, and it's very nice music, and I've meditated to it a lot. I've pocketed it for 2020 and I think 2021, but I used to listen to it a little bit before getting into D&Me, but it's been making me very sleepy lately. So I've stopped doing that. I've listened to pump up music of just what's the Sandstorm song? Sandstorm song by D&Recaps. Freddie Wong loves this song, just as a reference. I'm pulling it up now. Yep, there it is. Yep, it's a lot. So I've started listening to pump up music now, which is great. My routine is to make it live at 6:40 and then post on all the D&Medias. That's Ants and my song. For real? Sandstorm is y'all's song? That's adorable. Y'all are so cute and weird, and I love it. Is it really your song? Yeah, I can imagine Mom and Poppy's dance at their wedding. Just the two of us. You can make it if we try. Versus and then headbanging at the wedding reception. That's very funny. Great. I love it. So, and then also, I tried to stand up and, actually dance around my space at 6:40 in order to get jazzed up, but sometimes I would prep until just the wire of 7. So, that has fallen by the wayside. And then, here we go. My last little bit of this 19 note. Pronounce words out loud before each episode. Drink water, warm up before recording. Yeah, no. I drink water. I have 2 full water bottles. And I have another note that says full water bottles. Yeah, I have 2 full water bottles. One was a previous water bottle, but then it broke, and so I have a new water bottle that is called Chug. If you just go to Target, some are straw, and then other ones are just labeled Chug. And then one that my sister got me, that tipsy #1 fan _ got me back in October. Yeah, episode 13, D and Spooky, October 27th, 2021. So I've been using that one ever since. So I have 2 full water bottles and then the energy drink beforehand. But so that's me drinking water during the show. But warm up beforehand, I haven't warmed up. We used to warm up all the time when I did theater, back when I did theater. And we warmed up before every show, but since I've been doing on-camera work, I have not warmed up. Doing vocal exercises or movement exercises. Nah, I just sit in my trailer, masturbating. No, but I go over my lines and whatever. But Danny, you are just so, piercing baby blue eyes. Literally, the first time I met Danny, he came into the apartment and he was just charming, but I just zoned in on his eye and look at those hear some Baby Blues. And I was like, oh, Jen, you didn't tell me that he has he has an amazing eye. And then he was like, I have 2 of those. And I was like, haha. So he's great. But pronounce words before each. Okay, pronounce words out loud before each episode. I have a couple names that I couldn't figure out, like Krenst or Kresnek. That was the very first one in, I think, the first episode, or second episode. And then the other one was Ongslob or Zoblob. So, yeah, those are etched into stone for D&Me canon of just like, well, shit. I could just try and say these words out loud. Silvare, Serena. I've gotten better at it, I think. But, yeah, some I'm just like, I don't freaking... fantasy writers and their freaking weird names. Oh, Game of Thrones. If I were to do an audiobook of that, I'd be like, oh, God. So, Faerth. Farith? So, yeah, it's dumb. Anyways, ritual cleanse dice before shows, part of pre-show routine warm-up. Write pre-show mantras to say out loud at 6:30. Meditate. Dance at 6:40. Pronounce words out loud before each episode. Drink water. Warm up before recording. Yeah, no, that bullshit isn't happening anymore. So, yeah. So thank you. I'm going to wrap this up early because I want to go back to going through all my story points. Y'all. So, 25 pages and 16 pages and then other pages. It's literally like in Argo when they were putting together all of the shreds of paper where they were trying to shred the paper and like, we need to hurry up. But it has been just the coolest exercise to go through all my little bits that some are open-ended and they don't have something to connect to. But today I spent all of today, instead of making money, then like I was putting them together and making stories and like making sense out of something from 20 episodes ago with something with 5 episodes ago. And it's really incredible because some of the most rewarding storytelling, in my opinion, is like when the dots connect. Because, God, there's nothing worse than Lost, where they just made an open-ended like, oh, what's this thing? We don't know. And then it never does anything. So I've made a huge effort to write down notes of like those instances of like, oh, that's really cool. And Victor, as an audience member, I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because I have some ideas for, 80% of them, but I want to give myself also the grace and flexibility of just saying, here's this adventure hook. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? And in my head, I'm like, I don't fucking know. But it's great to like 45 episodes later go, click. So that's great. Here in this last 5 minutes, Tipsy #1 fan _ Colony of Ants. The Brostradamus. Do you have any questions about D&Me or the process they're in or anything plot-wise or character-wise up to episode 45? Like, do you have any questions? Because I would love to answer any of those to the best of my ability without spoiling anything. As y'all think about that, I'm going to go through my D&Medias one more time to see if anyone cares. No, that's not fair. People care. But let's see. Nothing on Facebook Messenger. Nothing on Twitter. Let's see. Instagram. Nothing on Instagram. We care. Yeah, no, I know y'all do. Yeah. But let's see. Facebook. I think I saw that Mom posted something on Facebook, so let me check. Okay. Mom posted 3 questions on Facebook. 1, what you drinking? Rosé from a box. What are your characters' favorite ice cream flavors? Rosé from a box. I need a refill. I have a bunch of questions now. Okay, great. Let me get a refill, speaking of, because I just finished my rosé from a box. I'll be right back. I'm not going to turn off the microphone so that you can hear me go across the room to my closet where I hide my box wine from my roommates. Well, okay. Hey, so there we go. I need to refill definitely now. Oh, Sarah, I love you so much. Great. It might have sounded like I was peeing in the corner. So, I have 3 redeemed take-a-sips of D&Mead. So, here we go. That's 1. That's 2. I clinked my teeth on that one. That was, great. That's 3. That's half of my rosé already. All right, let me actually see. I think someone else. Oh, all right. Someone else redeemed to take a sip. So that's another one. Yeah, love the mug. Thanks. I'm considering making another one on Redbubble where, oh, I see another one. Someone else redeemed to take a sip. Do you mean? Oh, okay. I have to give the audience what they want. So yeah, I was considering making another because, okay, this is perfectly straight on and it looks just a little bit crooked. See, that is straight on, but there's also like this gap in the design. So I'm considering straightening that out a little bit, but then there's also this whole blank side. So then in one of my fucking 90 pages of notes, I'm like, okay, so should I design a mug where that is perfectly aligned and then there's another one there? So you get 3 D&Me little hexagons. I'm considering it, but I also like the limited edition versions of my stuff. For example, Cerrito, you have also a limited edition coaster because now I've adapted the design so that the boys like take up the whole square. So it's my Facebook profile pic where instead of it being a long rectangle, then I've made it into a square where like I made my boys real big and then like did the design where it's overlapped so it's a square instead of all of this space, which is great for the video, but look at all that orange that could be filled up with meat. So that's limited edition now. So I was considering that. Anyways, I have questions now. Oh boy, and the rosé is just full force. Let's see. What are your... Okay, no. What am I drinking is the first question. Danny got beer that's actually in the kitchen, and I could be drinking, but I'm just drinking room rosé right now. Then, what are your character's favorite ice cream flavors? That is a great question because in the last game that I DM'd, that I was the dungeon master of, where I had other players, then I had a sex worker, and sex work is real work. A sex worker whose name was Mint Chocolate Chip, I think. Oh boy, now I have to look her up. But shoot, where is that? I have so many freaking notes. Oh God, where is it? Where would it be? Because I can't just say that and then not have it. Mint chocolate. Oh no, it would be under girls D&D. Because my players, 4 out of 5 of them were females. Okay, where is it? I will find this for you because it's very important. Oh, is it in my game notes? Mint chocolate chip. Oh, no. Okay. I think I know where it is. So. Yeah, there it is. Okay, great. We're getting there. Okay. So, yeah, I had a sex worker named Mint Chocolate Chip, And then if my characters were to ask, like, what mint chocolate chip, then she goes, well, the agency tells us to choose a name of sweet things, and it's my favorite shaved ice. So she was tall, rail thin elf, platinum blonde, and yeah, she was one of the murder suspects in the very first episode. So mint chocolate chip or Celia, for the agency that she worked for was called the Siren Embassy, I think. And you, as part of the Siren Embassy, you had to say your name. Yep, Siren Embassy. You had to say your name, like your stage name, your working name, like 3 times. And then if they asked the 3rd or 4th time, then you could say your real name. But yeah, mint chocolate chip. We had to... And I have some other names of escorts, like Mercedes... pecan or something. I don't know. But sorry. So all that to say, my character's favorite shaved ice flavors are, what are they?
Mine is where it's hi, I'm tipsy. Well, yeah, but bourbon or whatever ice cream has the booze in it. So bourbon is great. Bourbon pecan. Yeah, that sounds like a thing. Rosé, icy. Yeah, okay. Onyx, what's yours?
Rocky Road.
Wow, that's a pretty good flavor, huh?
Yes. What about yours, Rock?
My favorite shaved ice flavor. Marshmallow? Anything with like a nice s'mores? Or is that strawberry? Yeah, some
This is Victor. When you have like your first or second choice, and then you have like your 4th or 5th choice? I feel like Rock's favorites are your 4th and 5th choice, where you're like, oh, okay, you ran out of the other ones? All right, I'll guess I'll take that one. So that's Rock.
And then Toot Toot, what's yours?
Yum. I think butter pecan is what you were going for, Victor, earlier. But, not peanut butter or any of that ilk, because I am allergic to nuts. What? Okay, so there's like birthday cake, but then there's like the wild, weird, different colors, like a birthday cake explosion. I'll go for one of those right now. Or a simple chocolate. I don't know.
That was fun.
My mom asks on Facebook, how are you going to decide what happens next? So many good options. I don't want to know what the decision is going to end up being, but what factors go into your thoughts about it? Cool. That's a cool question. So I do have, as I'm going, Danny, I do has as I'm going through my priorities and my D&M game Word documents, then I have a lot of uncompleted, unfinished quests and stuff. So I'm putting those all in a cohesive Word document. And then what we're going to do 2 days from now for episode 45 is I have tipsy stuff I want to do. I have Onyx stuff I want to do. Onyx and Rock and Toot Toot. So I will actually roll at the beginning of the episode to see whose adventure we follow. And there are some pretty big plot points in each of those. So that's how I'm going to decide. Like right now, again, 25 pages and then 16 pages, and I've completed 8 already. But I will roll to see whose plotline we follow first coming out of Waterdeep. And there's some big things that I've decided, and it's going to be great. I'm very excited. So that, and then when I get onto the bigger stuff, I have, an outline, but we'll see how that all ends up. And then my last question from my mom on Facebook is, we might have to make some Tipsy Tavern signature dishes in real life. What might those be? Ooh, that's very cool, because that's very much Hero's Feast. But some Tipsy Tavern meals, signature dishes. Well, I've actually have more of some signature drinks recipes. I have a whole list for the D&Me supplemental guide that I'll write on my break, and eventually publish before I die. But I have a list of like 15 to 20 drinks that I've concocted of just the names. So those will be more something, because I don't know, like we could do Onyx smashed potatoes, where you punch the potatoes a lot, and then after a while you put them on a plate. Oh, and then the eggs, Onyx's eggs. This is funny. Oh, where's my notes? Okay, so the recipes, I said a whole Onyx's egg recipe as an outro, and then the smashed potatoes, the eggs. Yeah. That was so funny. Dude, I laugh more as Victor playing Onyx than I do any of the other characters. The other characters are fine and funny. Like Tipsy and Toot Toot have their very comical moments, but Onyx takes me by surprise a lot. And it's just great. So, yeah. For the supplemental. That's great. I'll have a lot of drink names, because I'm collecting those. The Waterdeep Chariot Bombs and Rolling Rock from, I think, the last episode. Yeah, so there we go. That's all. That's all I got. Let me check everything one last time. John Jefferson's going home. Okay, so what episode was that? The eggs was episode 35, I think. The paper birds, because that was when they all woke up, and Tipsy was super hungover, and Onyx he drank, but not to complete access. I think it was episode 35. Let me check right now. I play D&D with myself. That's always fun to like click and listen to all the time. Let's see, Onyx's. Yep, it's episode 35, Paper Bird. That is. My mustache is about the same. I thought I heard something weird outside. I'm listening. Thanks, one of my favorite all-time bits. It is 2 hours and 21 minutes and 12 seconds is where I roll. Even Onyx. Hey, everybody. I whispered for eggs. He's so great. So yeah, Onyx, like, he lived by himself for a long time out in the woods, and so that's where he gets some of his, survival and self-dependency. So I have a lot of stories about that. But here we go. Oh, I think one last person redeemed some channel points on the Take a Sip and then D&. Oh, yep. Take a Sip, D&Me. There we go. Great. We hit an hour. Let's go. Oh, and then I think someone else, Tipsy #1 fan underscore redeemed Take a Sip, D&Me. So yeah, baby. So right. Anything else, my loves, before I go? Man, Sarah, your birthday's coming up. Oh shit, real soon. Yeah. Oh man. Do you have Spidey Man? Do you have Spider-Man for PlayStation 4? Because if not, I have 2 GameStop gift cards. That might be something I spend money on. Because, y'all, this past month, I haven't spent any money on anything. I got Miles Morales. Oh. Have you played that yet? That was pretty good. It's very short, but I mean, both of the games are exceptional. Does Ants, which is hella fun, and I need to play more. Yeah, I know, right? I completed all of Spider-Man and played it a couple times, and then Spencer, my old roommate, was like, I haven't even finished it once. And I'm like, well, okay. But what is you and Ance's, like, video game etiquette? Or, like, does he want you play a la Mom watches you play? Or does Ants play a little bit? Or Ants, I'm so excited to meet you soon. One day more, another day, another destiny. That's a pretty good Hugh Jackman. We kind of trade. Ants, you played Skyrim because you read all the books, you freaking nerd, and I love it. You rock. He's excited to meet you too. Yeah, good. Good, you should be. I'm great. Yeah, what other games? Cold dipped. He's like, man, fuck this. But I'm learning about a good game. Good guy. The rosé. Hashtag rosé all day. We played Chicken Police. All right, Google. The heck is Chicken Police? Cole, if you're still on, what's the games? Wow, that looks amazing. What? Such a fun game. Let me tell y'all, just audioly, this is like a film noir. This is like Sin City, black and white. It's a rooster and a chicken and a cat. And they all have smoking guns in their hands. And oh my God, there's like an alligator and a raccoon and a. What is this? So good. Paint it red. This is like Sin City meets Animal Crossing. This is like Batman meets furries. It's a zebra and an alligator and a bloodhound and a raccoon and I'm at a loss for words. This is great. Is it like a short little adventure that you can complete in an hour, or like are there different like storylines? Or to quote the GameStop guy who sold it to me, this is a weird game. Wow. Well, the third picture is a naked cat. So I wasn't concerned until all of the... What the fuck is that? Is that a goat or something? And a giraffe. That's very funny. A giraffe whose head is like this, so you can't even see it. I am baffled. This is... Well, we have to play this at least a little bit. I'm a little tipsy, and this is throwing me for a loop. So, hey, congratulations. Y'all fucked me up. Absolutely great. Well, yes, I will meet Aunt soon. Oh, I get to meet Aunt soon. For our birthday celebration, we trade off games. I was talking about my games. Yeah, all right. Well, I have the Horizons. So the Horizon Zero Dawn and then Forbidden West. I have both of them now. So that's good. And then, yeah. All right. I have a last question. What are you all up to for the rest of this tonight? Are you just going to cough in each other's faces? Is that what you do in a relationship nowadays? I don't remember. Just hang out. Is Aunt sick too? Let me scroll back through the Oh, yeah, boy and I are both sick. Oh, well, thank you for spending... Yep, all right. Gonna take fever naps! Well, thank you all for hanging out with me so far. It's great. And then, I think the last little channel points are being redeemed here. Yep, so let me just... There we go. All right, so... Take a sip. D&Mead. Oh, great. Y'all are so good. So... Yes, enjoy being... Love you. I love you too. Thank you. Enjoy being home in North Carolina from Europe. That's exciting. And then I'm going to go back to just figuring out the rest of D&Me Season 1. You the best! Highlighted my message. Thank you. So, thank you so much. I love being here. Danny, Jesus, God. What's that Office clip where Rainn Wilson was talking to a girl and then Angela Kingsey walked up and he's like, fuck! So that's what that was like. Anyways, thank you so much. I hope you have a great night. And then tune in to episode 45 on Wednesday. That's great. Sarah, you've been, in Europe for the past, whatever. So you got some catching up to do. No, that's great. All right. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.